Where do you land a plane in a place that's run out of space? Japan's answer, Kansai International Airport, a floating megastructure built to withstand the wrath of Mother Nature up above. But what about down below? Fasten your seatbelts and prepare for takeoff to an amazing island airport in the land of the rising sun that may be destined to sink back into the sea. This is Osaka, the ancient capital of Japan, and former playground for the last samurai, now conquered by a generation that dances to the beat of their own drum. Home to 2.6 million people, a new energy in Osaka has propelled this place to become the commercial and industrial center of Western Japan. But in order to compete with their big sister Tokyo, Osaka needed to find a way to bring in more people with a yen for big business. Their answer? A much bigger airport to open up the skies. But government officials wrestled with a question of sumo proportion. Exactly where do you put a new airport large enough to meet demands of the day, without the noise pollution that has spoiled many a backyard gathering? Let's not forget, Japan's an island the size of California, and this area is partially mountainous and so heavily populated that trying to find a big flat slab of open land in Osaka is like trying to negotiate armrest space on a crowded 747. So instead of moving mountains, officials decided to climb one, creating a plan to build an airport unlike any other. Their earth-shattering decision? If there's no room to land planes on shore, why not have them land offshore, on another island? Only thing is, they had to build it first. In 1987, construction of the world's biggest man-made island of its time broke ground, or water, 18 meters deep in the middle of Osaka Bay. 7 years later, the world had its first international airport floating out in the middle of the sea all by itself, a true oasis for pilots.
That was 10 years ago that I was flying from Honolulu to Kansai. Then I remember vividly now that as I was, far distance from the airport, I was able to see the airport itself. It was an amazing experience to see that, it's like, wow, it's a man-made, island with a runway on it.
It's like a jewel in a black hole. It's fabulous when you see the lights. Not because, oh my gosh, there it is, but it's really beautiful.
It's actually quite nice because there's no obstacles. It's out in the middle, so out in the middle of the water, so you don't have to worry about hitting anything coming in.
Well, anything except the runway. It's Kansai International Airport, now one of Japan's busiest air hubs, handling more than 300,000 passengers a week, open 24 hours a day. Recognized by the world as one of the most incredible engineering marvels of the 20th century, and compared to megastructures like the Hoover Dam and the Panama Canal, Kansai was built 5 kilometers from shore and contains 530 hectares of landfill, making a massive rectangle that's more than 4 kilometers long and 1,200 meters wide. That's big enough to swallow up the entire downtown area of Osaka. Connected to the mainland by the world's longest two-tiered bridge, Kansai welcomes 55,000 planes a year, a unique experience for both pilots and passengers, making what appears to be a liquid landing.
As we approached, first I thought it might be like landing onto the aircraft carrier or something like that, but actually it was not.
The water always looks much closer as you're diving down into the airport, and so yeah, that's pretty scary.
At nighttime there's not much visual cue, because there's not much light around other than right at the airport, so they kind of call that a black hole airport.
Building this black hole airport created a real-life parting of the seas, and truly was a construction project of biblical proportions. It's the largest public works undertaking of the 20th century, costing a total of $15 billion US, with over 1 million workers putting in 10 million hours of manpower.
I felt like I had been in a battle every day. Would it work out when it was finally done? It works in the drawing, but would it work in reality? That was constantly on my mind, and it was very stressful.
Think that was stressful? Try going to work wearing a hard hat and a life jacket. To pave the way for the textbook landings of today, Japanese engineers had to rewrite the manual on how to build an airport. Kansai airport planner Yasunari Harada has been there since takeoff.
The biggest challenge was to supervise the entire construction and open the airport as scheduled. It was a balance between the engineering for the landfill and the construction on top of that.
And speaking of balance, there was one little problem. Exactly how would the artificial island hold up to all the pressures from above without collapsing into the spongy seabed below?